Right, just got home from buying my new camera gear, and yes, I've been shooting Nikon for some time now, quite a while, ever since I really started doing proper photography, and this set of videos coming up, you might want to hit the subscribe button down about there, because I'm going to be doing a few of these videos over the next little while as I transition from my old camera system to my new camera system and go on an adventure of discovery. When I first started doing photography, I had to pick a camera that gave me what I wanted to do, but I couldn't go spending too much money. Hence this, which is actually it was a D32, but I broke that, and at the time didn't have a lot of spare cash, so I replaced it with the D3300 with this has now got a 140 lens on it. The original one had a 105, 18 to 105. This is an 18 to 140. And then when I got a little bit more cash, I bought this little 200. What are we, 50 to 200. Nice little kit lens, and did some pretty fantastic, if I say so myself, photos. Close your mongrel. But I'd always wanted to go up. This is a crop sensor camera. I'd always wanted to go up to a full frame camera. That had always been my goal, and so the other day when I was in a position to go and really spend some money, I decided I'd go out and literally do that. And so the Nikon is history. It'll probably be given or sold to someone at some point, so it can go down there. This lens, history. What I'm replacing it with is this. Will that focus? Yes, A7R3 Sony. Just double check they actually gave me the R3. Now, over the next little while, I'm going to be doing this in stages, but for now I will probably start with the core lenses, and I'll go into detail as I set them up, because the series of videos is going to be my adventure in changing systems. And I know moving from Nikon to Sony is going to be an adventure. Things are going to be totally different. I've already, when doing my research, I discovered that there is a hell of a lot more in the menu than on the Nikon, but it's full frame. Now, I had a couple of people go, "Oh, you're changing cameras to go for size reasons," and I thought, not really, considering the size of the two zooms I got. When I looked, I knew I was going to go to a full frame sensor. I always thought I was going to go to the Nikon D850. I'd had it set in my mind that that was what I was going to have and nothing else would do. But when I did the research for the way I use a camera, what I want to do, the portability I like, I don't do a lot of ultra long lens sports shooting. I do it occasionally. So I wanted a system that could expand to the larger, longer lenses when I needed it, but for most of the time wasn't that large. So I chose this. Photography's moving into the mirrorless area. Nikon and Canon are probably going to be having mirrorless cameras by the end of the year. How good they are, that's debatable. It's anyone's guess, but you always treat the first effort with a bit of skepticism. I'm wanting to change up now, and I don't want to go to something intermediate. I wanted to get stuck into it now, so I decided Sony is the best way. Nikon use Sony sensors anyway, so sensor wise I'm more or less got the same sensor as the 850-ish, or close enough. There are things about mirrorless that have expanded or will expand my photography in the direction I want. One of those is, for instance, I'm getting the, where is it? Oh, I've got the beast. I'll unpack the camera in a minute, but I've got the 100 to 400. I've got a ×2 converter kicking around here somewhere. This lens, which I'll show you, this lens is not exactly that big. Ooh, look, comes with a strap, probably because that goes with the little baggie it comes in. An inch of manual or instructions or some other carry-on. Throw the box over there. Plastic bag, don't need it. Nice little carry bag, but one of my things is I didn't want to carry a long lens in a bag like this outside my main camera bag. Now, I'm getting the 70 to 200 2.8 as well. I've got that sitting here, so I'll bring out in a minute. And a couple of people said, "Oh, why did you get the 200 when you've got the 100 to 400?" The main reason for that, I want the 2.8 for portraits. Where do I put that? Let it sit there. Now, well, it's definitely well padded. I can give them that much. There's definitely no way in hell you'd. Oh, it comes with the this ring doesn't come off, but the foot bit does. But it comes with all that already on there. Lens hood. And it's got an adjustable ring here for the tension. Now, if you've got this really loose, you can actually use it like a push-pull if you really wanted to, but you can tighten that up to whatever suits your zoom. But that 400 is almost the same size as the 200. Well, the 200 2.8. So most of the time I'll probably have this with me when I'm out doing nature stuff. If I do want longer than 400, I've got a ×2. And yes, you lose a bit of light, but really that's irrelevant these days. With the ISO capability of most of these cameras now, losing a couple of stops of light is pretty much irrelevant. But the 200 will go out when I want to do portraits. By having the ×2, on the rare occasions I happen to be somewhere and I see something in nature, a bird or something I want to photograph, I can always slap the ×2 on. Now, some of the things I'm going to have to get used to is the fact that the way these hoods go on, a little bit different. There, one 100 to 400 lens. It'll probably never ever see the inside of this little carry bag, although it's nice that they give you a carry bag, because for those people that are going to carry it around separate, it can be handy. I'll throw that down there. Right, now back to the camera. Oh, we don't need that strap, can go down here as well. Ooh. We'll put all that together. Might as well keep it all together in case I ever want to use it again. Right, back to the camera. Now, again, an inch or so of bits of paper, probably in like a million different languages. Put that up out of the way. Cables to connect to the battery charger. That might get used if I travel overseas, but pretty much otherwise probably not. There is one for New Zealand power plugs here, but at the moment the battery charger and the battery are plugged in charging. Surprise, surprise, because I want to fiddle with the camera. So I'll have to find a home for those out of the way, because they'll probably never get used, but I don't want to throw them away because I might actually go overseas. Another thing they supply, obviously, strap. Another piece of stuff I'm not going to use because I've got one of these. And as far as I can tell, I'm probably going to use this instead of the camera strap. But time will tell. We'll give this a go, and if I like it, I'll use it. Because it comes with, well, I got a little one of these adapters. I'm not 100% sure I like how it fits onto the tripod, but I'll probably get used to it. It doesn't close the same. That fits on my Manfrotto tripod, which this cell phone that's filming me is sitting on. And more about tripods later, but I've got the big Manfrotto 3-section with the centre column that can come out at 90 degrees. That's my main tripod, but I've got a small travel tripod because I like to stay reasonably portable. But anyway, so that will attach to that. We'll deal with that later. Through most of my videos you'll see me get sidetracked all the time, but that's normal. Right, camera box. Ooh, what's that? Oh, cable thingy. For those people that do cable shooting and stuff like that to Lightroom, it's quite nice that they give you this. You don't have to buy it separately. It's a cable protector so that you can attach your cable to your computer, and good old micro USB, basically the same cable that you'd use to charge your cell phone and probably just about everything else nowadays. Anything else in the box? It's like Christmas. Nope, that's it. Nothing else in there. That can go down there. Underneath my tripod there is a slowly growing pile of cardboard boxes. The camera. Quite hilarious how small it is, even compared to, keeping in mind this is an entry-level Nikon. Ignore the lens, but look. About the same profile from behind, so my hand will be used to that. I'm used to that, holding that, and this is pretty much going to be the same. It's a bit weird without a lens on, but pretty much going to be the same. But it is a little bit narrower. So that'll be interesting. I've got to set that thing up. And there's going to be a bit of playing around with that. People talk about the screen. Nice little screen. Yes, you can't stick it out, flip it out sideways, but probably the next video I do or thereabouts I'll be doing from this camera, and I will be using my phone to line it up and start and stop the video, because you can connect the phone to this via Bluetooth and don't really need a flippy out screen, apart from the fact that any further away than this and I wouldn't see the damn screen anyway. Right, now to go on the camera as the main walkabout lens, again another chunk of paper to go with it, which hardly ever read that. We have a 24 to 105. Again, oh, comes in a cute little baggie. It's got its own sleeping bag, which this will probably be the last time it sees it. Don't you roll anywhere. That's it. That can go over there. Lens hood. Okay, this is the normal. Interesting. Different lens hood attachment system for this one. Be careful not to. It's about the same weight as my Nikon one. Nice loose-ish focus ring. Zoom 24 to 105. We've got on here optical stabilization. I'll have to get used to a new bunch of terms. Instead of image stability and all that sort of carry on, it's going to be all vibration reduction. It's now all optical steady shot, and autofocus. And this is a G lens. The 100 to 400 is a G master lens. I'm going to have to get used to a new numbering system for Sony. That's going to be weird. Right. Oh. Before we do the times two, somewhere in here. Another big heavy lens. And when it comes to cards, this is where people can find it interesting. This has got 2 card slots. Okay. 2 card slots. The first one can take the ultra fast cards, and both of them can take standard 95 bits per second, megabits per second cards. I'm only going to use the standard, what I term default, these ones. Those ones. X Pro SDXC UHS 1. Card slot 1 on this camera will take UHS 2 cards. I'm only going to use ones because I want the same card in both slots, because normally I don't shoot more than what will fit on one card, very rarely, but it gives me the ability to take one card out and download if I want, without having to get a slower card. And I don't do video much, or at least it's not that big a deal. I don't need ultra fast cards. I just want the fastest standard cards I can get. Another cardboard box. It's getting a bit cluttered down here. Again, plastic bag. Hey, where's the strap? Oh. Oh, where's the strap? Must be inside. Oh yeah, there it is, strap. Right, 200, 70 to 200. Ooh, oh, that in there. The lens hood's already on. Sweet. Down there. Now, before I said trying to do this when you don't have a big table is a little bit tricky, but never mind. There we go. These two lenses is going to be fun. How many times am I going to get these mixed up? Almost identical in size. This one's a little bit chubbier than this one. 400 on my right, 200 on my left. Almost identical size. Weight wise, no perceivable difference in weight. Technically the 400 is 100 grams lighter than the 200. But being right-handed, I don't notice the weight in this hand quite the same. If I swap them around, yeah. I do like the fact that, I'll put this 400 out of the way for a moment. Hopefully I won't run into it in my chair. I do like this for my PL filters, because I've got a ND filter which will probably not get used on this very much, but out of all of the lenses, this 200 is the one that's most likely to be used on if it's not the 105. But I've got the filter system from for ND filters, filter system from Syrup, which comes with, basically it's an 82mm lens filter with some step-up rings. So you get the filter, and assuming that's the one I want. A little cloth, one ND filter. Ooh, nice and smooth. Let's hope I've got the right size. Do that on nice and tight, because it's probably never going to come off there. Oh. Hang on, just pause this for a minute. Right, I'm back again. I put the wrong step-up ring on, but anyway, I've now got the right one on. One thing you are made aware of is the fact that because of the way this lens hood is designed, there is a little bit of a recess there's a little bit of a recess back from the edge, but I've got a lens protector filter on, which otherwise would normally be called just a UV filter, which raises it up. So because the filter is bigger than the thread, which is handy from not getting any vignetting, the thread depth here is not as deep as the how far up the lens hood sits forward. So having these lens protectors on, like I've got here, all these UV filters, raises it up level with the lens hood, so I can screw it on easily. But that's cool, not a problem. One of those on. I've got one of those for each of the lenses, but comes at this little UV filter, ND filter, comes in a nice little baggie. So that's that. So all that can go away. Right, is there anything else in here of major interest yet? Nope. Oh, ×2. Sony rear lens caps are going to take a little bit of adjusting to, because they don't rotate as far as the Nikon ones do, so they don't lock on as far. Everything's got like millions of bits of paper in it. Oh, even the Times-2 comes in its own cute little bag, which it'll probably live in, because this will spend a lot of time in my bag unused. But it's quite tiny. You couldn't. Oh, it's actually a hard case, so it's I wouldn't want to drop it. But if you've got another lens sitting on top, that case is going to take all the weight of whatever lens is sitting on top of it. Does it have a little... Yes, it does have a little white dot. The other thing I notice is all the lenses go on backwards compared to Nikon. So there's me Times-2 on there. Nice sturdy fit. The only thing I suggest when you get this thing new, there is a possibility this little wing nut here is loose. Same as the one that holds it onto the ring. You might want to make sure to tighten both of these up. One really nice thing they've done with these is you've got your screw mount for your plate for your tripod, but it's got two of them, and it's got a little pinhole in the middle. So if you get a tripod that's got a little pin sticking up, a tripod plate that's got a little pin sticking up, it helps stop it rotating accidentally. Right. Take this off. I hate having the backs of my lenses uncovered for very long, so I don't do that. Right. Times-2 is quite a squat little why is that not going back on properly? No, come on. You've got to get it just right. It's like a bloody puzzle. Quite a squat little lens, but and the fact that it's got comes in that's nice. That's a nice feature. So they've really made things look nice, and they've also gone to the trouble of making sure things are reasonably well protected. The fact that these lenses are going to live in my camera bag without their carry bags is beside the point. But anyway, oh well. Next video, don't forget to, if you like what I'm doing, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, do so, and keep up to date on the next few videos I'll be doing. The next one will probably be me using it. Most of these coming videos will be about me finding something about the camera that I didn't expect, or that's different than the Nikon system, or anything like that. As I go through and discover these bits and pieces, and various things like that, I'll make a note to comment them. So now I shall go away and spend the next goodness knows how long setting this thing up how I like it. That's going to take a bit of research, but that's to be expected.